So over the last couple of days I've been testing these distance balls, Wilson Ultra distance balls. You can still buy distance balls now. These are kind of old-fashioned ones. Now with strokes gained, making it very clear distance is a real weapon in the modern game, why are we all not using a golf distance ball? Why are we not using something that goes the furthest? I've put this through a series of tests. Let me know in the comments down below before it starts. Is it going to go further? Is it going to spin more? Is it going to spin less? I've tested putts for feel, chipping, pitching, medium irons, hybrid and driver. So I've gone pretty much through my bag. I will present numbers at the end of the video down there in that comment section down below. What do you reckon this ball's going to do over, say, my current Z-Star? Very different price points, very different advertising between these two. What will be the real difference? Did you ever play these, Matthew?
Pretty sure I won a few of these in the junior competitions that I used to play.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they were always in my practice bag.
Yeah.
And it did feel a little bit like when you hit one, they went like 20 yards further than anything else is the feel I had. But remember, they would have been in my practice bag against Tor Volata. So if this does do anything in relationship to a modern ball, then it probably did go 20 yards further. So maybe that's another test that we can do further down the line. What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's got to go further than your Z-Stars? Surely, innit? It's a distance ball.
Well, I think...
I'm expecting lower spin, more distance.
I think low spin throughout, apart from maybe driver, because we know that there are limits and the RNA wouldn't have let it go any further. So I reckon that it's similar on the long stuff, but low spin for the rest.
All right, let's go and test. Right, let's start with the putter, shall we? So I'm not expecting to see a difference in performance, particularly here. But I am expecting a different sound feel, which I absolutely do. Like, it's so much more rock-like with the Ultra. It's a very different feel, sound, one that I don't really like. But obviously, what you like is relative maybe to what you're used to and what you've been conditioned to. This one's simple. It doesn't sound like I want it to sound. A new golfer, I don't think, would notice any difference, as in they would notice one feels harder, firmer, different noise, but I don't think they would know which one they kind of prefer. Would I hole one more over the other because of that? Totally not. Like, I'm going to hole and miss the same amount of putts with both of those balls. 9-yard chip shot. We're going to go with the Ultra ball first. Just even moving it into position, the sound of it is aggressively different. Right, that's as good as I can strike that. Ooh, nearly. It's a 9-yard chip shot, carrying it round kind of 5 to 6 yards. This is my 58 degree. A little bit dunch and runny. I mean, it sounds super, super Clipsville. Again, that's done quite well. Right, these are very playable chips, but there seems, to my eye, looks to be quite a lot of run out on them. I mean, I struck that really good. Struck that like perfect. Through that further, like really popped that one. Right, one more and then we'll compare it to my Z-Stars. Definitely sound, visual look is that it's not really doing, it's kind of doing what I would preconceive it to do, to be honest. So let's change the data field and we're going to see what my Strixon does in comparison. Again, just pulling that ball in, you can hear the difference in the cover. average, okay strike, but not great. Much better strike on that one. Again with that one, it was more of like a catch and grab, it felt. I feel like we need to go and look at those numbers. Right, should we look at the chipping numbers then? These are interesting. So I've got a 58-degree wedge and it's an 8 yards, 9 yard chip. Let's look at some averages here. So they're launching both very similar, 16.8, 16.2. Very, very close tolerances. Bear in mind, my chipping's not the best, is it? Now, noticeable difference in spin when you get down to a short little chip like this. 2,400 average in the Z-Star, so the Z-Star spinning higher, and then 1,866 average spin down here in the Ultra. Topping out at 2,259 with the Ultra, where I'm able to get up to my maximum of 2.7 with the Z-Star. That's like 500 revs more, isn't it? So definitely when you get down to that short game area, that extra spin, I could see how it could hurt, but mostly benefit. When you're short-sided and you need every little help you get, the more expensive ball with the spinnier ideas in its construction, definitely coming out on tops. 50 yards to kick us off then. I've got my 58 degree. Let's go up through my bag and see what numbers we actually do get out of this ball compared to the feels it will give me as I strike it. So just picking up my speed a little bit, not hitting them hard enough. Don't know if that's just me or fearing what the ball might do. There we go, that's smack on. To be honest with you, from 50 yards, it feels, yes, clippy, but it feels gameable. Like, without looking at the numbers for spin and what have you, it definitely feels, I mean, it feels clippy and loud, but I just feel from 50 yards, if my strike's anywhere, I'm finding that distance now, it's gonna stop, because I can trade spin very easily for land angle with this kind of club if I really need to. Obviously, there's probably some situations if these spin numbers are low where I won't want to trade, but we'll look at those numbers. I was just about to go up to the next club. I don't know if you're seeing that. There's quite a lot of that ball on that face, more than I would expect to see. Right, we'll go 9 iron now. Full out 9 iron for me. That's hitting target. A little bit out the bottom, but it'll work, I imagine. Like, I'll be honest with you, it feels as clippy as almost a Pro V1X, the ball I've played for maybe the last year now on the Strixon, which feels much softer in the Z-Star, but this doesn't feel, I reckon this will feel like the VX almost in the Strixon. Definitely the sound makes you feel like it's going a long way. If it is or not, well, we'll look. It already doesn't really look like it is. Let's go 7 iron next. And that feels strong. I mean, I'm hitting them what feels pretty solid. I mean, that's pretty much a line ball. Right, my 22 degree hybrid next. And that sounds louder now whipping these clubs. The combination of the material and the material feels quite clippy. I reckon that's going to be a low spinner. That felt like it was more off the top of the club, that did. Yeah, it was. Slightly higher strike. Again, that felt like a good hit. Is it staying on target? Yeah, pretty much. Slightly up the left side, but not bad at all. Should we have a look what happens with the driver then as well? Again, it's a fraction louder. It's not offensive at all. Little left, slightly turned that one, did feel that, but struck decent. Right, one more, and then I'll hit a match just with my Strixon, so we've got a comparison set, and we'll have a look. Slightly toey, but I reckon in a good way. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking them as hits all day long. To my Border Ultra, and we're going to do it obviously same day. I'm going to go back down the set now, so we get this driver certainly as close to the other one. That's a calmer, nicer sound, definitely. Yeah, I felt like I hit that good as well. Oh, a little left, unfortunately, but strikes are in place. Again, hit that a little left. Right, hybrid. It's such a calmer sound in comparison. Now that they're close in comparison of times of hit, it's such a nicer sound in the Z-Star. With a slight heel strike, it would work, but it's going to be weaker, I imagine. Yeah, a little bit weaker, a little bit moving to the right. Let's see if there's a noticeable feel difference in the 7-iron. Oh, I've nearly missed that. That will have to be a disconnect, or might leave that one out. Get that one better. Should be targety. Yeah, that's a good one. 9-irons. I mean, they're two pretty solid 9-irons, I'll take them. All right, 50-yard wedges. Again, in comparison, throughout the whole set now, definite feel change in these. Like, this ball's so much more where I want the audio of that strike to be. Little skinny, but not bad for distance. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what's going to come out. Let's go and have a look. Let's see what comes out of this data then. Quite a lot of numbers here. So we're going to start with the wedges. The Strixon ball spinning at 6.5 in the Z-Star. Now the Ultra, again here in the wedge, is struggling, down at 4.866 average. So it is struggling to compete with the Z-Star in that ilk. It is not doing very well. What's interesting is if we jump up to the 9-iron, the 9-iron in the Z-Star's near 7,000, 6,800. Peak height of 30 yards compared to the 50-yard pitch I was hitting, which was peaking height at only 10 yards. So remember, with a 9-iron you do have some land angle on your side, but the spin in the Ultra is 8,400. That blows my socks off. So it's spinning considerably more than the Z-Star in the 9-iron. Peaking height at 30, going 130 yards compared to 135 in the Z-Star. So it's actually shorter. The distance ball's spinning more and shorter on those batch of shots, which is just unbelievable, isn't it? And arguably with the Ultra, it's a massive jump from a 50-yard shot, which is low spinning, to a 9-iron shot for me there. Bear in mind, that's from mat, from the ground, 8,400 revs. That's going to be spinning 9.5, near 10,000 with a 9-iron. That would worry me, that massive jump with the Ultra. So let's jump onto the 7-iron. So 7-iron for me spinning at 5,500 with, again, Z-Star going 163 average yards, topping out 168. Now the Ultra's going 161, so no distance gains. And spinning at 6,600, over 1,000 revs again more. So the middle of the bag there for the Ultra is spinning really high. Now a few things to remember here. This is from a mat. So that 6,000 goes to 7.5 from the grass with the Ultra. I tend to spin 500 below my designated number on the club, depending on the loft. My Strixons are stronger lofted, so my 7-iron performs more like a 6. So it is around the 500 revs less than it should be. It's where it should be. My 7-iron spinning like an 8-iron, when it's actually my 7-iron is closer a 6-iron in its loft, would worry me a lot. That's a lot of spin. I was really surprised with those. Now if we go to the hybrid here, 199 average distance, 198 with the Ultra. Again, we're not seeing the distance claims. 3963 average spin. And again, the Strixon now in that middle group is going, or sorry, in the slightly long irons is jumping higher, 4,679. So we're now seeing low spin from the Ultra. So it's really jumping around, isn't it? Where what's happening with the Strixon, I think this will be the ongoing point, is that the numbers are blending sensibly, where the Ultra is like super low, then super high, and then kind of falling back into place almost. Which is it's just interesting. That's kind of quality, isn't it? That I guess that you're paying for or not. Then if we go to the driver, do we see these big gains with the driver? What did you comment down below? 270 average with the Ultra, 268 average with the Strixon. So 2 yards if you want to call it, but on 3 shots, I mean, they're the same in my mind. Averaging 2.2 spin with the Strixon, where the Ultra is spinning down at 1.8, but I do have a 1.5 in there, which is considerably lower than the 1.8, which is the lowest I've got in the Strixon. I think if you hit more shots, you would get them coming even closer. But still, I would see them really, really, really close in the driver performance. So not really seeing the distance that you get from distance claimed balls. What we are seeing is quite crazy jump numbers in spins subject to the club, and really lacking in those wedges kind of ideas. I mean, amazed that the 9-iron spinning as high as it did. What did you make of that? It was crazy, wasn't it? So Matt's had a chance to look at the numbers as well. Amazing, isn't it? I mean, you really lose in the wedge, but then the 9 and 7 was like jumping way high in spin, which amazed me.
I can't quite get my head around that yet.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a combination of factors. I mean, one thing that's got to be noted with these balls is the more I hit them, they really, like the surface of it really started to feel like you could feel it shredding, and you actually started seeing it on the club as I show in the video. So I wonder a little bit if the surface of this became rougher after those wedges, and then that jumped up the performance on something where, you know, the surface might affect. I mean, that's a complete guess. Yeah. I have no basis of facts on that. That's a complete guess. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is just how low the spin was in the wedges, then how high it got in the middle, and then how it just fell into sync in the top.
Do you think it's just that they didn't have much technology in ball back then, and they just made one and whacked distance on it and didn't really care?
I think not really caring is the point. If no one's questioning what you're making, and I would say it's more about the spreadsheet of the cost to get this to the consumer than it is testing it in any golf ball controlled tunnel spaces, firing them down. I just don't think there was a lust to get better. It was more, people want a ball that sells for $12.99 a dozen, let's make it. That's my guess. I don't know. Could I still have fun playing that ball? Absolutely. Would it be cheaper than playing top end balls? Yes, but it will wear out, I think, quicker. But then it won't get out of shape. It will fly relatively true, but you're going to get jumps in spins and what happens because of its build, and then the way it wears out, I would guess. Would you play tournament golf or play in any way caring for your handicap with that ball? I wouldn't at all.
Not nowadays.
Just wouldn't, would you? I mean, it shows you as well how well these modern balls have done. They've basically produced, so like your Z-Stars have basically taken the elements that this does have, because it did well in the long game. It went no further, but it went further than what would have been around at the time. If you do compare that to a Tor Velata, isn't it? It is 20 yards further, isn't it? Or 30 yards further. But then it still gives you that spin the other end. So I think it shows you how, where maybe they didn't learn or change anything, the other manufacturers did, didn't they? They went, we want that in the driver, but we don't want to sacrifice what we're sacrificing down below a bit.
Do you think it's any different with the technology back in those days as well, with clubs and stuff?
In what sense?
Like,
Obviously,
heads weren't as big.
Yeah.
So CGs were in different placements.
yeah.
Would that have affected stuff as well? Like,
In what way though? It would have been.
there's another test you
Yeah,
can
I guess
do.
it is. I guess it is. I mean, I personally can understand why there's a market for this, and in the modern day issue, a reason. You know, if you're going out there and have no real care about score, there's plenty of people who play because they want exercise. Like, look at what's going on now in the world. You know, exercise, like golf courses, will be open before other sports if we unlock, for definite, and already are in other countries, because, you know, it is a great source of exercise and social and the rest of it. That would allow me to play golf with my mates. That allows me to be social. It allows me to exercise. It allows me to do all the great things that lots of people play golf for. What it doesn't allow me to do very well is get out of trouble when I'm short-sighted from about 50 yards in. And then it also makes me have to rethink how I'm hitting my 9-iron, because, like, what is that spin going to be on that 9-iron from grass when I get a bit of sand and grit caught in the spinning? Like, where's the spin going on that stroke distance?
Well, you do that and spin it back 10 feet, your mates will think you're a
Yeah, but you're going to
genius,
come
won't
up
you?
15 yards shorter as well, aren't you, if you go and add another 2,000 on it?
Not if you know it's going to happen, though. Not if you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting test, wasn't it? Post comments down below. Let us know what you think of all of that. Would you game that or not, or a version of it? I reckon in the era it was released, you would be able to stand up to the distance claims, but competing against what they're competing against now, yeah, I would say it's not doing anything. So arguably this ball's ahead of its time, because if you can compare the more expensive balls, and we've done the older balls to modern day, this is actually closer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Where the other ones are like
Yeah.
way off. So maybe this was actually ahead of its time in a funny way. Post comments down below, let me know what you think, and if there's a certain ball you want us to compare this or other ones up to, let us know. We've got plenty of time, and the old Foresight Garden Studio likes me out there whacking.